constant attacks like that. Or you could go about a different way. A way that I really like to deal with it is to go mass meta. And what I would do with that is I would go quick spire. I would get my first group of metas out. And if you're playing against mech, this is even more true than if you're playing Roach Hydra. They play so defensive against a meta opening because usually mech anti-air is not very good. Like, it's good late game, but like when you get the mutas out quickly, they mostly have to defend with turrets. Maybe eventually they'll get a few Thors out. But for that entire time, they can't move out with their Hellions or their tanks or anything in a big army because, well, first...
The pressure.
Yeah, the pressure. So what I would do behind that is I go like 5-6 bases really quickly and then mass metas. Just keep making metas, keep upgrading them, but don't show them. Don't like pressure with them. Just keep harassing with the first few metas. And then when they leave their base for their timing push or they're trying to take their 4th base or whatever, I just go and kill it with only metas. Because a lot of the times, almost every time, they'll blindly make a lot of tanks. Because you need tanks if you're playing against roaches. You need tanks if you're playing against hydras. And especially if you had roaches early game, like to defend a Hellions or Hellbat push, they'll expect that to be the follow-up because it's the usual follow-up. So you can just immediately kill them when they move out with mass metas. You just make sure you magic box them over all the Thors and then take the engagement. And it's really quite easy to win those games a lot of the time.
I see.
Those are like the two main ways I fight mech.
Do you think, just a little side question, do you think you're so good against Bio just because of your Baneling control? I mean, it's leaps and bounds above other Zergs, and is that the key to beating Bio, is Zerg? It's just Baneling control?
Yeah, a lot of it's the micro of yelling Baneling in fights. And a lot of, it's funny, because a lot of viewers are like, Bio takes so much micro, and Terran is just an A move. I mean, Zerg is just an A moving, but that's really not the case at all. It's not high level. You're spending so much time microing the Baneling. I think I'm good against it, generally. Sorry, I can hear an echo from someone. I hear myself talking. Okay, but I really think, yeah, microing in the engagement is so important there. And I think I'm good at that because, in general, I'm pretty good at quickly microing in engagements. Even dating back to Bruther and Fester, even though people say, of course, that doesn't take micro, blah, blah, blah. It did. So going back to mutilating Baneling. Yes, I think micro is a very, very important part of it. And I got quite good at that back in 2013, like this summer. I was very good against Terran late game. And I actually helped a bunch of other pros with their micro in Baneling against Terran, like Jadong and Kane and some other people. So, do you want me to explain what you should do generally? It's hard without showing, but...
It depends on if somebody else has a question. I'm not trying to take them all.
No problem. Okay, I'll just quickly explain. So, you have your metas on one hotkey, and you have your Ling Baneling on another hotkey, or you can even have your Lings and Banelings on a same hotkey or different hotkeys, whatever you want. So you would go in with your mutas, like you can aim move or whatever, assuming you don't send them in before your other units. And this is assuming they don't have a lot of Thors. It actually really varies depending on what the Terran is in their army, so it's hard to really give you an answer without a specific scenario. But yeah, you send in your mutas and your Ling Baneling all at the same time. You move command. You select all your Banelings and you move command them. That's very important. You move command them and you quickly like select groups of them and spread them out like right to different areas. And then you grab small groups of Lings and move command them through the army to try and soak up Widow Mines. So most of the time you're not actually microing your mutas at all. You're not magic boxing them or anything because it's more important to micro than Ling Baneling. And so you A move with your Lings, you move command with your Banelings, and then you move command or even A move small groups of Banelings at a time, like as fast as possible. You grab like little groups and tell them to go in different areas depending on how the turn is spread out. And then you can look and you can see the Widow Mines burrowed. It can be hard sometimes, but you can see the little dark circles. And you try and grab like small groups of links and move commanding them past those to absorb those. Because if the Widow Mines hit your banelings, you can't win the fight. Sorry
How
if
do
that
you
was...
practice it over and over again?
Huh. I just practiced it from playing ladder, honestly. Like I didn't... There's probably a test map for that sort of thing, but I just use ladder. And it's
Yeah.
Play
it's
ladder more than anything.
Yeah, Korean ladder. That was back when I was in Korea and playing Korean ladder. And that definitely helped more because the Koreans are really good at microing bio, so you have to be really good at microing Ling Bailing or you just lose the fight all the time.
Yeah, I'm guessing you could just grab somebody, hop in a unit tester, and do something like that.
Yeah, for sure, you could do that.
Otsego has
But you
a question.
also, one sec, you also have to make sure that you're not only doing the same scenario because depending on how many Widow Mines they have or if they have Thors or not, it becomes a quite different scenario. So just, if you want to do that in a unit tester, make sure you're trying different things and like thinking about what you should do against these certain scenarios. And eventually it'll become, like you'll just know what to do when you see the layout. You don't really have time to think about it when you're going into an engagement in an actual game because it's so quick. You have to like know what you're doing. So sure, yeah, unit tester is good, but make sure you test different scenarios. And sorry for cutting someone off. They were asking a
It was
question.
Charlie. I just said Otsego has a question about how was your time in Korea? I guess that's his question.
Well, I was in Korea 2013 and 2014, and they were very different. The first time it was in the Axiom house, like Axiom Acer, we had a team house, me, MMA, all the Axiom guys, and I was there playing GSTL, and that was quite a bit of fun. Like I never lived with other StarCraft pros before, of course, and I got along quite well with some of the guys there, like MMA and Ryung, especially. And yeah, that was really fun. Like I got to learn a lot about Korean culture and everything, and I really enjoy it there now. The second time in 2014, it was very different. I got an apartment by myself with one roommate who was not a StarCraft pro. So it was a lot more by myself, and I guess while it was different, I don't think I enjoyed it as much. I really did like living in a team house with all the guys, and because it was, I don't know, it was just fun every day with them. They're all clowns and like goofing around and everything.
Well, you guys all had the same interest. I'm sure it was a blast.
Yeah, exactly. It was a blast for sure.
I would love to live in a freaking team house. That would be awesome.
Ryung is the funniest guy in StarCraft for sure.
So what's the schedule here, guys? Are we gonna jump into games, or are we gonna?
Hold on. Shinobu has one more question.
Schedule.
Are you talking about the Axiom House? We did not have a schedule. Most of the team houses there did, and I almost ended up joining a Kespa team at one point, which would have for sure. But Axiom did not have a schedule at all. It was pretty much consistent though. Everyone would get up at like 11 a.m. on most days, unless they had soccer in the morning or something. And then we'd all stay up till like midnight or 2 a.m. And it's not like we had a specific practice schedule. We would all have lunch together and dinner together and sometimes go out or whatever, but we're mostly on our computers most of the time, and like you'd play some, then take a break, then play some, then take a break, but we did not have a strict schedule, except it was a little bit different back then because, as I said, we were doing GSTL. So if it was leading up to a GSTL match, we would have like planned practice depending, like you would prepare for a specific matchup or something or anything. So we did have a little bit of a schedule then, like, but it was more so like you're playing this specific race and you'd be playing with a person in the house. It wasn't like the time was very segmented though, not at all. And I like that for sure.
Fee has Phi. I don't know. Phi has a question about Turtle Sky Toss and how to engage an army that has Storm. So how to deal with Turtle Sky Toss and how to engage an army that has Storm.
Well, I'm sure every Zerg would like to know that. Well, but seriously, it's quite difficult. It's very difficult. I have lost my fair share of games to Turtle Sky Toss. I used to just, of course, go into Stormhost, which does not work anymore. So, I think that's one of the times I do my Infestor build for sure, which I can explain if you want. But other than that, similar to dealing with mech, I think. If they're turtling heavily, you just want to expand a lot and then keep doing timing attacks over and over and over. But make sure you have a specific reason for attacking at that time. But yeah, if they're turtling, you just play really greedy. And once you have your tech and your economy all up, then you can make bigger anti-units and keep attacking. You just don't want to sit maxed and not doing anything if they're doing that, because their army keeps getting stronger and yours doesn't. And
so you
of
want to
course,
trade.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, just to get your economy up and then max and trade, then max and trade, then max and trade. Against Storm, Storm is actually really rough to deal with. I've lost a lot of games against that recently because, I don't know, for some reason Protosses have been going Storm more recently. Well, make sure first, it's a lot more important to get a good concave when you're fighting into Storm. You definitely want to spread out, especially if you're doing with Force Field plus Storm together. That's really rough. But yeah, good concave, and just try and immediately take a group of units that get stormed and pull them back. Just move command them backwards out of the storm as soon as you see it happen. And you just need to do that with every single storm. If it gets to the point where they have 20 storms or something, like if they have a lot of Templar with a lot of energy, that's what Stormhost used to be for. And nowadays, yes, F10N against 20 storms. But seriously, Ultralisks can be good against Storm, of course. Yeah, Ultras or F10N. But yes, get a good concave, microback units get stormed. And try and kill the Templar if you can, with any way, which is usually not going to happen.
Okay, so we can start the coaching. Who wants to go up first?
So this is I'm watching the game in game and I'm live coaching one of the players. Because I haven't actually done this before. I've only done replay analysis and that sort of stuff. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, we can move JC Bot out and just have you coach the player as is, and then just discuss, I guess, generally what you're looking for and what they should be looking for, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, sure. That sounds good. So I'm only going to be coaching Zerg players, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I might be doing some Protoss later this week, but I have only done Zerg so far, so I wouldn't want to just jump into his Protoss coaching. But yeah, Zerg's fine.
JC, can you set it up?
Yeah, but should not play versus me or Scarlett.
Oh, versus you, and Scarlett can just watch.
Kashida, we actually has a really good link being control.
Yeah, he does.
So
I'll
is
move
this...
you out when it's open and move you back in. What were you gonna say, Scar?
So this is GM versus GM?
Yeah.
Okay. And CV... 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 P, did he say? Okay. Just trying to find his race, but he plays every race on his profile. Okay, ZUT. Well, I lost to Norga in one of the WCS qualifiers.
Ready?
That was rough. Yeah, I'm ready.
User was moved out of your channel.
Okay, you can freely talk.
Okay. So do you have a specific build you're gonna do or anything? Shinobu, hello. So who am I talking to?
Nobu doesn't have a mic.
게임 시작.
So how's this gonna work?
That makes that difficult.
You
does
can
make
type it and I'll just Shinobu, just type it and I'll read it for Scar.
How is that gonna work when he's playing?
Yeah.
Oh wait, just wait for the game to start then.
Okay. This is gonna be a little bit awkward, but it's all good. We're all good.
And we need to start a donate to Shinobu fund now for a mic.
Yeah, we really didn't think that one through, did we? Kinda sucks.
It's alright. I'll just watch from his vision and mention things, but it'll be a little bit harder without getting any feedback at the time.
I think it'll be good if you just review afterward, it'll be fun.
Okay. Is someone lagging?
Yeah, it's panic. You might have to kick.
Like that. I'm Anyway, thanks for the info, Scarlett. I appreciate it. That was pretty awesome to listen to you.
No problem. If you have any more questions, if anyone has more questions between games, you can feel free to ask.
대군주를 더 생성하십시오.
Generally, what do you look for out of the Terran? Like, when you go up against Terran?
Like early game?
Yeah, early game, and then predicting their path and stuff.
Well, a lot of the times it's hard to scout against Terran, so the first overload is important. It's important in every matchup, but you want to check the timing of the first command center. And of course, if it's around 3:30, that means it's a 1 Reaper opening into reactor. If it's around 3:50, that's like a 3 Reaper opening. And if it's like 3:10, that's a no gas opening. So you go from there. And then if it's a 3 Reaper opening, you can scout later with the Overlord because they don't have Marines out at all. So they go straight to Hellions afterwards. So you can check if they're getting a Starport or Banshees or any sort of thing from a 3 Reaper opening. If they're opening 1 Reaper into a reactor, you have to get out with your Overlord like pretty quickly because they do make 2 Marines afterwards or 4 Marines. And if they're going like a 310 command center and getting Marines right away, you can't scout at all because they just have they have Marines like so quickly. And like first thing I want to find out is if they're just going to be doing like a 3cc build or if they're going to be doing a Hellbat push or Banshees or that sort of thing. Speaking time. Yeah. So you want to check if they're doing like an early push, and then you have to react to that. So it's really easy to tell off a 3 Reaper opening. As I said, you can just keep the Overlord floating over their base until you see the barracks making a Marine, which can be like 6 minutes into the game. It's quite late. And otherwise, a nice thing to do is if you have your second Overlord up like here, you want to be checking the timing they're taking their second gas. And that can indicate if they're, like if it's really late, it's probably like a 3cc build, more than likely. Or it could be like a 2 factory double reactor Hellion or something like that. So you want to keep the Overlord in their base as long as you can until Marines are out, of course. You want to check their second gas timing with your second Overlord. And that's like the only real things you can do early game. And then once you have speedlings, try and run them by once their Hellions are not there anymore. And that's also nice to do. And then usually that's all good. If you figure out they're doing attack, of course you want to react to it. If not, it moves later into the game and you have to figure out if they're doing mech or bio. And you can usually figure that out with like a circling run by or two into their natural. And right now you see, as I said, it's a 1 refill opening, so there's 2 Marines coming out, which means this Overlord's gonna die if it stays here. But, moving on. Oh, I see, moving his Overlord now. But, so yeah, you want to figure out if it's mech or not. And so first you would look, you're trying to run a circling by, and if you can't see anything with that, you kind of either have to sacrifice an Overlord, like 7, 8 minutes into the game, or you can wait to get to your layers done if you made it fairly early and just make an overseer and check. Oh, that's the lucky Overlord. Fast second gas, like 510. I'd say if there's no second gas around 545 or something, it's probably either some weird Marine build with like multiple barracks, or it's going to be a 3CC build. Or it could be a 2 factory, 2 reactor build. So that's less likely nowadays, especially. So yeah, fast second gas is like 530 or earlier. Unless it's a... Sorry, I keep saying so much stuff, but if they're opening with a 1 rack CC, so 310 gas, I mean... Yeah, if they're opening with 1 rack CC, or if they're opening with a command center first, they'll get the 2 gas at the same time. And they'll just be a bit later than Reaper opening, so you can't judge it as much off that. And all this I was saying about the second gas timing is pretty much just relevant if they're going Reaper opening, for the most part. So when you see a Viking like that, it's a lot less common for there to be Banshee follow-ups, especially cloaked Banshees. Having said that, just because it's going to be so much later, and usually the Zerg will have a lot more defense. They'll have defense by then if they wouldn't in the first place. Okay. Yeah, about that. No, it's all good. It's all good. Current time is perspective, so this is what he's seeing. This is the service run by. Great. He might be able to scout with these. So yeah, he sees CC, these Banshees. If he's researching, it's most definitely Banshees. No one really fakes the amount of backup period in this. So just make like, once you see Banshees, what I would do is I would make a spore at each base, only one, like towards the direction where the Banshee is going to come from. And then of course you need a spore at the front, because a lot of the time they'll just bring the Banshees with the Hellions and just fight your Queens. So you definitely need a spore at your front too. Mostly if the Banshees are earlier enough, but I see him making a spore, so that's good. And I definitely don't like making too many spores, so I don't like making two spores per base. That can be a little excessive. Spines? Not early game. Sometimes I'll make one at the front if I feel like they're gonna keep making Hellions or something. So this is a kind of late Hellbite attack. And this is why it's nice to get... Yeah, that just happened. This is why it can be nice to get your Baneling Nest before your lair. And just make sure it's early. Otherwise this sometimes happens. Primo Fable? Yes. As soon as I get my upgrade started, my spider started, then I'll immediately make my Baneling Nest. Once my Baneling Nest is done. That goes for like CBD and CBT, just because it's better to just have them just in case. They're really cheap, and like 4 bandings can do so much defensively. And when you see late, okay, going back, I said you don't usually see Banshees off of Viking opening. Sometimes if people do it, and they occasionally do, it's more likely to be mech, especially if you see more Hellions like this. Like, at that time you don't really need to check your main base. Seeing Hellions this late and Banshees this late, it's probably mech. So, yeah. I would have just like 100% if I was converted at this point. Nice transfuse. Yep. Hardest, most annoying thing to deal with versus Terran. Huh. Turtleneck? Or Hellbats? Or Widow Mines? Or lots of stuff. Yeah, mostly just like Hellbat attacks that at weird timings that you don't expect. So he's going really quick Hive, and I assume this is for... Well, it could be for Broodlords, but it also looks like it could be Roach Viper attack, but I think it's gonna be Broodlords. So as I said, yeah, once you get your muted out for mech, you can be kind of greedy. Immediately taking your 4th is a good decision. If you have money, you can even take your 5th right now as a third player. And all you want to do is just keep poking around different angles of the Terran base with your mutas and just make sure they're not being greedy. So you make sure they have to spend the money to build turrets everywhere. And if they don't, you want to punish them for that. And just pick off a few things, but make sure you're not too greedy. You don't want to lose your mutas. And even in a scenario like that, you can hit the gas a few more times, just because the bounces will kill workers. So as long as you're not... Oh. Yeah, so you can bounce waves off the Mutalisk attacks off the gas to kill workers pretty easily if they don't have turrets close enough to the gas. And just make sure you pull back like an injured muta when you do that. So I say this is for ultras. And the thing I find a little bit strange about what he's doing right now is he's getting roaches and ultras at the same time off mutas. And if I would just, I guess, like ultras off mutas with link upgrades, I would just skip the roaches entirely. It's because he already has the banding nest. He already has the melee upgrades. He's probably not going to need to make roaches defensively for Hellions or anything, especially with the mutas out. So if you're going to ultras like this, I would just recommend skipping the roach one. And you might want to get +1 air attack with the Spire, even if you're not going to continue making mutas. It's just quite cheap for the first upgrade, and it can be useful at all stages.